All right, what a beautiful day. Just grateful to just have these days, this last week, each of them, they're just special moments to spend with the guys, with the coaches, just soaking it all in, the meetings, the passing each other in the hallways, as it comes to a close. It always strikes me, no team's ever the same, and so I'm just, grateful for the guys and just encourage them to just enjoy these moments, enjoy this time. We spend so much time together, working really hard. So anyway, it was great to be out there, just running around, throwing the ball around, and having fun at practice.
Miles looks like he's on target to play this week.
Yeah, certainly hope so. He's got we'll have a full practice tomorrow, so we want to see him run and cut and do all those things and make sure, it's the right thing for him. But he looked like he was into it today, and so really hoping to get him out there.
Dave, you talked about wanting to finish, and you talked about these divisional games on the road. What have you seen from the team in terms of their approach to this week?
Yeah, it's just back to work. This is our work Wednesday, and so the discipline is the focus. Can we capture it? Can we pour into the game plan in our meetings, talk things through, be really focused in the walkthrough, and that certainly was what it felt like out there, and these guys know what kind of opportunities these are. Every game, so valuable, so we go into this one with the utmost respect for the Falcons and the utmost respect for each other, as we come to a close on our season.
I think there was some of us who wondered whether we'd see Miles again this year, just, with Jonathan, stepping up at that point. What kind of opportunity is this for Miles in Week 18?
Yeah, for us, it's about going out there and being competitive, playing our best brand of football, and Miles gives us a chance to do that. And so, for me, it's like, even just him being out there in the huddle, talking to the guys, and the guys kind of responding with smiles to see him out there again, with us doing this. So really cool, for the guys to be able to do this together.
When you have Chuba out there, he's obviously the feature guy. How do you balance the split between all these guys and trying to establish the run with three guys, basically?
Yeah, we'll figure it out on game day. But, it'll be some mix of the group of guys, and they're all hungry for opportunity. So it'd be really cool.
Mike Jackson made the comment Monday that he's never faced a left-handed quarterback. From your experience, how much of a difference does that make? Is it just training your eyes when it comes out of their hands?
The biggest impact, I had a lefty quarterback, Sean Davis. He's a quarterback's coach at University of Texas, San Antonio. He was a lefty my last year playing receiver at Azusa Pacific. And the ball hits your other hand. So, imagine the spin of the ball. I can't remember which one. So if you're like a righty, it smacks your left hand. The spin goes, bam, you stop it that way. With the lefty, all of a sudden it's like, well, I didn't expect that. The ball's puts force on your other hand. So I guess for Mike, it'd be awesome if we get an opportunity, to catch one of those balls, and he'll feel the difference there. But otherwise, I think maybe with some primary reads kind of, being out to the left side, we kind of throw it, just based on field position and hash with right-handed quarterbacks. So I think they probably take the same approach that way. But yeah, it'd be interesting.
With that said, for a while, it was like the left tackle was the premium position. It seems like the right tackle and the left tackle kind of become synonymous with the same value now. How much does that put on does that change anything with the way you plan for the right tackle?
I'm not sure about that, really. Honestly, I know that is technically his blind side, but I think for us, calls are formationally based, or field boundary based, those types of things, So I guess that's the way you got to, approach it. But that's interesting, if you have a quarterback you're invested in long term as a lefty, does that right side become, more of a, fleet of foot pass protector or whatever that is, So that's an interesting question.
You were asked about Mike Jackson. Is he the guy that you all want to have back?
I mean, we'll look at all the guys and evaluate that. He's done a fantastic job. I think, JC and Mike are like the number one tandem in terms of pass breakups, per attempts. And so that's something to say. And, he certainly has come up big for us in a few games. Think about the Saints game, a fourth down play he makes to end the game. I think about the Cardinals game, 2 knockdowns with Marvin Harrison Jr. over there on the right side, and just kind of, Rolodexing just some of the different ways he showed up. A sweet TFL in the game last weekend, where they had a toss crack, for -3, and just the style of him, the consistency of Mike. I've known him for a long time. He's exactly the type of people that we want to be here, with the culture, the attitude, and the professionalism. So,
Dave, the other day you mentioned anybody who could play was going to play, basically.
Yeah.
Have you heard from any of those guys who didn't play last week that they're really pushing to try to get back out there, that kind of thing?
Yeah, we're just taking them day to day, and kind of following their progress and making sure we do the right thing for the player first and foremost. And all the guys, their messages, they want to play. They want to be able to finish well. They want to be able to finish together, and it means something to them, and that's really special to me because all of these games are so important.
Dave, as a big culture guy, are you big on maybe rewarding hard work behind the scenes in that final game? Not necessarily at the cost of winning, but like if somebody was a backup, maybe getting them more snaps, or somebody on the practice squad potentially being elevated for all the work they did?
It would be great to get guys opportunities to play for sure, but we're gonna offer that to the guys who have been playing for us and let them finish, on their own terms, and then we'll kind of take it as they go. That would be great, if you could, but that's not really my thought process going into the game.
As you mentioned, every team's different. What's your biggest takeaway from this team, just especially as your first year as a head coach?
The fight. I've just loved every minute of this team, regardless of the outcome of the games, the fight in this team to just continue to play for pride, for each other. It means something to them to see them grow, to see this locker room grow. And I kind of, alluded to this a few weeks ago, but guys just coming a little bit earlier, hanging out a little bit longer, and just kind of watching that happen over the course of the season to where it's like you still hear a buzz coming out of the locker room and these guys are in there playing games or, talking to each other and hearing the stories of guys going to grab dinner together and all that stuff. That's special to me. And so just learning about this group and how they've really leaned on each other, and just the pride that it comes with, like also feeling like, all right, we can go into these games and we can win, and having that, coming so close in a couple of those games right in the middle, but to see the belief of the guys and the resilience, in a really challenging, situation, and the resilience to come back every Monday to like go to the film, study it, to come back every Wednesday and recapture our work ethic. So a lot of character, a lot of high praise for this group from me.
To that end, given some of the challenges this season, it doesn't have to be that way. Why do you think that this group has responded, even with this culture, given some of the adversity?
Hopefully it feels like it's their team, and for me, and the coaching staff, we want to set the foundation, and we give them the information, and then we say, okay, now you guys go do it, do it together and break that huddle together, finish plays together, and that's what I've seen happen, is seeing guys, be able to do that, regardless of what the play might have been. So hopefully it's an ownership thing. Hopefully it's the coaching staff saying, guys, we're gonna ask you to do things. We're gonna ask you to execute these fundamentals and all those things. But ultimately, this is your team. Ultimately this goes how we want it to go. So.
Bryce has improved in so many areas this season. Some like off target throws and things like that. What have you seen that he needs to still improve on?
Oh, just in general, like every day, every week, there's growth opportunities. Every game is so important. It's even in the Bucs game, as the score is getting away, these are great opportunities, to see, can we rally ourselves back, and can we keep throwing punches, and can we keep trying to find guys down the field? And he certainly showed that, and we'll evaluate all the stuff, and go through it, with every little detail, but that's going to be a part of our, off-season self-scout process.
I'm not sure if you were asked this yet, but what was the thinking in bringing Plummer up?
Yeah, we had an opportunity. We had a roster spot, and for Jack, he's been working so hard. I thought, shoot, let's get him up. Like a lot of teams have 3 quarterbacks, and we've chosen not to have people available in other positions, but the opportunity presented itself, and so I was like, shoot, let's get him up there. You never know. We have 3 quarterbacks at this point now, and so yeah, just that was pretty much it.
So Mike's question, would he be a guy you'd look at, late in this game Sunday, even ahead of Andy?
I don't know.
Yeah.
We'll think about all that as we go. Yeah.
You still got the game on Sunday, but how much more prepared do you feel going into this offseason as opposed to getting hired and coming in and all the new changes and everything?
Yeah, I feel like in so many ways, really, for the last 2 years, moving to Tampa, then moving to Charlotte. So I feel a sense of relief to be in one city, really for my wife, for my kids, to kind of, get into a normal rhythm of the balance of prepping for free agency, the balance of looking at the season in self-scout, with picking kids up from, practice or dropping them off at this place or that, and just really, reconnecting with that part of it. It's kind of really been 2 years. And then really, if you count 3 years ago, we traded Russell. So I went on the road 26 days that spring to go to all the pro days for the quarterbacks. We had Gino and then Drew Lock, but we got to look at all these quarterbacks. And so really the last 3 off seasons have been kind of turbulent for me and my family. So I'm looking forward to that part. And then from a football standpoint, like having a staff in place, being able to look at free agency, knowing our roster, like seeing these guys every day at practice, seeing them in games, kind of looking at our roster and challenging it again against like who's out there and all those things. Like I think Dan and I will have a better place to kind of start, to with the infrastructure and the systems, set in place. So I do feel a lot better about that. Going to the Senior Bowl, not to just like hang out with Dan to like, get to know him again. After now, it's like we've spent so much time for a year. We're going there with a plan. About just what's out there and being able to talk about the year. So.
Dave, how has George Lee impacted your ability in game to understand like moments that maybe you're focused on the next play or whatever?
Yeah.
How has he been an influence on your in-game operation?
George has been phenomenal, and I think especially for the first year being a head coach and calling plays, which like we talked about, in camp and like what's that going to be like? I don't know, but he really did allow me to just like focus on the calls, and kind of have a thought for like, all right, the clock is ticking here. We got to make some decisions, but like then George is like, he'll give me before the drive, hey, I think the best strategy is if we do this, this is an opportunity to go for it on fourth, or just timeout usage and all those things. Just having that clear, calm voice that George has, and he loves it. And it's like, so it's been really cool to like talk through. Should we challenge this one? All that stuff. And it's been awesome to have George be able to, so I don't have to like try to collect all that information on my own. To have someone that's got that organized for me.
All right, thank you very much.
All right, thank you.